right, so I said no mic at the moment, right? That's what this thing says at the bottom. But this is see what it really is that I don't feel like using my damn camera right now. All right, it's me. I might leave the mic on. I don't know. I need to see the problem with my work schedule is by the time I get home, everything is so condensed. It's just like I have like if I get home at like 8 o'clock, I have between like 8 and 10. The shift ends at 5:30. I'm usually there until like 6:15, whatever, making sure all this stuff is sent out, people's schedules are edited, whatever's going on tomorrow gets adjusted. Um, by the time I get home, it's like 7:30, 8 o'clock. Walk the dog, get back in, it's 9:30. And now he's doing this. Like we just went on a long walk and he's in here whining, which is driving me crazy because he's gonna do this all night. He's going to want to go outside again. Pee Wee, Pee Wee, do you want to go outside? Want to go outside? He actually has this toy. When one of his toys breaks, he does this. But I can't fix it. It's a rubber toy. There's nothing I can do about it. I can't stitch it back together or whatever. Anyway, um, so I end up taking one to walk. It's like usually 30, 45 minutes, maybe an hour. Come back in. It's like 10 o'clock. Here we go. I got to be up for work at, I need to be up for work around like 5:30, 5:40. Out the door around like 6, 6:10. And then I work for like 10 to 12 hours. So it's hard to squeeze in video game time. And I keep bringing this thing with me. I keep bringing the Legion Go with me. That's actually why I stream from this so much. But the problem is, I'll just cut the camera on for this part. See, the problem is I bring it with me thinking I'll have time after work. Like, my time is honestly like, sometimes I don't go straight home. I'll just go to a parking lot somewhere and just chill and play a game or listen to a podcast, listen to like sports talk radio, like the local sports talk radio station, something like that. Because, yeah, only so much time of the day. But again, I've been looking forward to the work schedule slowing down, but it hasn't happened yet. But I know it's going to be one of those things where like we cross a line, and all of a sudden we're just there, and it's like, all right, cool. But it's going to pick right back up too. So it is what it is. So things I want to check out this. Let's see if this has controller support. This is from Arcane. This is from the people that made Dishonored. That's why I bought this, because I remember seeing this game back in the day and be like, what is that? Not interested. Dishonored is a game that I don't think is like, some people get really into the story. I don't think the story's all that good in that game. However, the mechanics, I don't know. I'm just playing scroll through Steam games and complain about my work schedule. It's a pretty good game. I want this to be out. I really want Agent 64 to be out. There's a source. Okay, so hold on. Let me see if I have this on here. Perfect Dark. Streaming. Shoot, PD. Where's PD? Where's PD? This right here, this should be Perfect Dark. So somebody made a Perfect Dark source port. Well, what's really funny to me, what has been funny to me, is that the Perfect Dark source port got done before GoldenEye. I think what it is like the people that made, if you remember, there's a mod called GoldenEye Source for Half-Life 2. That was really cool. One of the main developers on it like passed away a long time ago. It was a big deal at the time. But they never really added any of the single player stuff in. It was so focused on multiplayer. That was cool. But once source ports started happening, like I think there's one that's started, but it's one of those things where like it just kind of like drops off the radar. And I think the biggest thing was when people realized that they were going to release GoldenEye on the Xbox Live Arcade on the 360. That version got dumped. It's called like Bean or something like that. It's like a code name, and you can play it. And I think it's fully playable. Whatever. It's got like proper controller support and stuff. But I think once that happened, it kind of slowed down people's interest in trying to get like an actual source port of the game done. Probably because it's split between all these stupid developers and publishers and the Broccoli family. I think that's the people that own the James Bond name, but it's like a 20th Century Fox or whatever. Anyway, let's see. Let's find a fun thing to play. Daikatana. I was hoping, I don't know what made me have hope, but I was hoping, so the Disney Afternoon Collection finally came out on Nintendo Switch. They added in 2 games. They added in Goof Troop and the other one I don't remember. Goof Troop is the big one though. To me, I was hoping they would add that as DLC for like the other versions, but that hasn't happened. I don't think it's going to happen either, so that's a loss. I'm gonna end up playing ROMs because I want to play something like, I really want to play something like Galgun, but I don't want to deal with all the weird pervert stuff. But I want to play like a light gun game. Ooh. Let's load this up. I haven't played this since 4 days ago. I don't think I actually played it 4 days ago, but I need to see if this thing is in sync. So I remember I had changed some stuff and my score started getting better. And it was literally just a sync issue. But I don't know if it was synced up to the Steam Deck or my bad, the Legion or the monitor itself. Or which monitor it was. My biggest complaint with this game, well, 2 biggest complaints is like why I never touched this before is I guess there's 3. Complaint number 1, I don't care for Vocaloids. I don't care. VTubers, Vocaloids, and none of that stuff interests me at all. Like when I see a VTuber or a Vocaloid, I'm like, my interest starts to drop instantly. Yeah, I had streamed, I think, a little bit of like Spider-Man. So I streamed a little bit of Arcade's Revenge or Silver Surfer, one of the 2 games. Either way, I know I was in line somewhere the other day, and I ended up playing a bit of Arcade's Revenge, the Super Nintendo version. What was a bummer is what got me. The whole reason I got the collection is because of that. It wasn't. Oh no! Hold on, music. Wait, that's weird. I got it. You should be able to hear me. Oh, I see what it is. I'm sorry, I'm using this other version of OBS and it's got everything all weird. It shows you sound sources that aren't actually active at the time. You have to scroll it over. Cool. Okay. Yeah, my level is higher. I have a superior level. Anyway, whatever. So, finished that first level in Arcade's Revenge. I was like, oh man. The only achievements that are in this game for like finishing a level is for the Captain America arcade version and the X-Men arcade game. Which like, yeah, of course. But why are there not easy achievements for all the other games that are on the collection? Like, it just makes it feel like they put out that Marvel Maximum Collection for 2 games, for Captain America the arcade game and the X-Men arcade game, which like, I like that game. I like X-Men, but at the same time, that is a game that you play through like once and you see everything, and it doesn't really like it's not replayable, I guess. Not that Arcade's Revenge is, but still. Anyway. Starting this game off and playing this and then going to this, I was like, this sucks. The co-op, I think the co-op is limited to X-Men. It's something weird like that. It's like, oh, you can play X-Men in co-op. You can play all these games, you know, as many players as they support, but not online, which is like, what? It's like when you see the Street Fighter Anniversary Collection, which has all these great Street Fighter games, but the problem with that collection is that the only games that you can play online are like, it's like Street Fighter 2 Turbo, Super Street Fighter 2 Turbo, Alpha 3 and Third Strike. And it's just like, alright, so you put like 16 games in this collection. And for me, I might want to play World Warrior Champion Edition, or if you want to play Street Fighter 3 against somebody, just the vanilla version, can't do it. You can only play those games. And then on top of that too, they will let you like select the game you want to play, and like it just cycles through. Say if you want to play, if you're like, I want to play online, cool. You go in and like, I want to play Third Strike, so you hop on Third Strike, go to online. Another person's like, I want to play Alpha 3. When you pair up, when they search for lobbies, they just look for people that are online. So then it cycles between the games, and it's like, these companies need to get it together when it comes to like these collections and how they deal with net play. All right, let's see. I don't know what a G is. Oh, it's 83.3, so that's a good score. This is a good score. This is a questionable score. Pee-wee, you just came in, buddy. Relax. I wish these songs weren't so long. And so Vocaloidy. I should be able to get a way better score on this. Hold on, let me see what I did hard. I'm melting right now. Hold on, look at it. See, let's try Song of Eternity Diva Mix. This game does this really weird thing where you play it, and when you get to, it's not a solo. I don't know what they call it. It's not a solo. But they have you do this thing where like the difficulty will like jump up to the next highest difficulty. So all of a sudden you have to play like a harder version of the song for a better score, whatever. It's weird. This is also, so the other thing I mentioned about this game, as a person who loves rhythm games, what I hate about this game, what I hated about Project Diva, is that to me, if the game was traditional and it just did the little normal scrolling thing, like, you know, it scrolls up the screen or down the screen, it'd be a lot easier to read. Instead, this game wants to do all this cute stuff with like you know, I have like a, you're pressing like nothing but X, but it'll make like a box shape, and you have to figure out like when to press the buttons. It's just confusing visually. But that's the game. Yeah. Timing feels off. Score is super low. It's the sync, man. I'm gonna blame the sync on that song where it just feels like everything is like I'm pressing the buttons to the rhythm, but I'm using a wireless controller for part of it. Yeah, there's all sorts of stuff. Song list. Intense voice bouncer name. Ah, boy. What a name for a song. I hate this song. What it is that all the Vocaloid songs to me, like the problem with this entire genre of music is that it all sounds the same. It's all like high energy, or it'll be, I don't know. It's a certain tone. It's just like, yeah, this is like AI generated partially. Dear Coco Girls. Let's go to customize. Let's see what outfit we get for this. What do they suggest? See anything? Here's what we're wearing. We're wearing the swimsuit. I guess. Great. I get to feel like a complete creep. There's some arcade rhythm game where it's like you dancing and there's like an AI girl in front of you, and I think you choose the AI girl you either want to dance with or as. And like I remember being at the arcade and looking at that, I was like, man, this entire thing makes me feel like a giant creep. I'm doing this in front of like a camera too. Like a lot of the arcade machines now will have a camera so they can take pictures of you while you're playing, just so you can show it off, I guess. If you want to stream it or whatever. Yeah, I'm good. You're probably seeing the same thing I'm seeing right now. All right, let's cut this off. I don't know if this is my monitor. This has got to be my monitor. Um, how the hell do I get out of this game? I hope it's not the monitor that just died. It's got all sorts of crazy artifacting going on right now. I think it's just the game. That song was too lewd. It was too lewd. I had a bikini on. Like, this is unacceptable. We have to block this stream right now. Oh, man. Well, whatever. Um, yeah, the Maximum Collection is a hot mess. It's not. These are good. These are good. But this collection here, the problem with this? The problem with this collection is that it was published by Limited Run. It just seems like all of their games always have some weird issue. The biggest thing with this is that for me, a person that's using the Legion Go to stream this, it always detects the Legion Go as player one. I can't switch it. I can't switch the controls anywhere, so like it recognizes this controller as the primary control because it's built into the device itself. Even that the thing just timed out. If I was to press this here and go in here on Steam, you can press like X and switch the controller order. You can't do that on here. So a lot of games, whatever controller you pick up, it's weird. Like I thought Limited Run was such a great company. They were putting out all these games, and I listened to Retronauts, and Jeremy Parrish is on there. He's one of the people that's like attached to Limited Run. And I always thought, like, oh man, they're bringing back these classic games, but for some reason whenever I try their games, like there's always something that's like off with them. The other thing about this collection too is these handhelds are 1610. Almost all of them are 1610 now. So it'll be 1200 by 800 as an example for the resolution, or 1600 by 1000. Cool. When you change the resolution, instead of instead of the resolution switching, it just makes this little box and it like shifts where the actual game is. If it's not the native resolution, it doesn't scale properly. It's so weird. Like, it's such a strange issue for games that are this old. You shouldn't have a problem scaling. I can just go in RetroArch and fix all the problems I have right now. Yeah, they had a couple of games I think that were supposed to ship and took like 8 months to ship, if that, if you got the copy at all. And like whatever they were showing, like, oh, it's gonna have this and this and this, like those, that's not actually here. Man, these are some cool games. These are some cool games I wish more people knew about. I was listening to another podcast and it wasn't this collection, the games in this collection came up individually, and they had mentioned how deep was it Shadow over Mystara, the second D&D arcade game? This was my introduction to D&D. Like I had heard about it and I wanted to try it, but I was in like fourth or fifth grade. I also remember reading like tips and tricks for GamePro, and when the second game came out, they had like pictures of it and it just looked incredible to me because I had a Super Nintendo or whatever at home. Oh, there you go. Press back to play Tower of Doom. So this is the first game. I'm gonna go ahead and just load it. I don't want to be the damn dwarf. Hopefully it doesn't make me be in. We'll leave this here. Okay, so you would go in here and you would choose the character you want to play as. Of course. Of course. So we'll go with the fighter. The elf is, Assman 69. Hell yeah. Hell yeah. Alright, let's go. But yeah, like playing a game like this after playing, Final Fight and Streets of Rage is, to me, not so much the first one, but the second game, still incredible. You go to a game like this, and this game you have like a whole weapon system. I've got a dagger and I've got oil, and I think what happens is like there's a certain point in the game where you have to like, you're fighting like an orc or something like that, and it ends up being this thing where it's like, oh, if you don't like use oil and fire to kill it, it doesn't die. And it's a thing that was in the D&D rulebook at the time, where like the way that they make it feel is like, oh, like if you don't know this, you clearly don't understand how D&D works. And I thought that was really neat. Like visually, if you're looking at the game, it's like, oh, this is just like, it's another what's it called, Golden Axe type game. But like, no, this is its own thing. This collection is it's so cool. It's so cool this even exists, because this feels like the kind of thing that should have never come back out. But anyway, I played these games back in the days, like, man, why aren't these games on anything? Here you go. So whatever. All right, I'm gonna back out of this game because I will get sucked into this. All right, so what I wanted to do is I wanted to go in here and Shadows of Mystera, or over Mystera. All right, so like Tips and Tricks or one of those magazines had pictures of this in there, and I used to sit there and look at these pictures like, dude, I wish I had a game look this good. This game to me visually looks so cool, and the character designs were so much neater. Like, of course, you get the elf. I mean, look at her. She's sitting on the table. She's so hot. You get the fighter. Like, look at that dude. He's got the zero hair going on. You got the magic user. The cleric, of course, is there. Dwarf, and then you got the thief. And the thief to me was like the coolest looking character. Like in pictures, this anime girl. She's like a modern anime girl, but back then it was different, you know. If this game came out like, you know, after like, I don't know, 2010, she'd be doing the Naruto run all day, guaranteed. They also did a thing in this game in particular where I think your class ends up playing a little bit more of a factor. Like if you have a thief, I believe there are just chests that are randomly like booby trapped. I think you can use the thief, like if they're in your party, you know, one of the 4 characters you're playing as, and they can like disarm the traps, which is really neat. Nice. Thank you for rescuing me. Yes. Yes. I guess I lost my title. I guess I hit the wrong button. You know what it was? You know what it was? I typed in Y. It detected ass as the word and it deleted the entire thing. So you cannot be Yas Queen. Disappointing. Man, oh man. Yeah, I'm assuming that's what it is. It's like, you know, when you would go to an arcade and you put in a name like, you know, ass or whatever, like say if you're playing like DDR, that's like, oh, my name's gonna be ass, and you go through like all the trouble of getting a high score, figuring out how to do that, and it deletes your name and changes your name to like KNMI, like Konami. There we go. It's an owl bear. Yep. Yes, sir. Oh my gosh, I'm trying to figure out what the hell they use here. Oh, I've been watching. I've been I've been going to sleep with YouTube on, and all right, so there's algorithms. All right, so there's two things that happen. I will wake up, like say if I go to sleep, what time is it now? It's 10:38. So say I go to sleep at like 11 o'clock with YouTube on, watching wrestling video or something on gaming or like old sports or whatever. I will wake up at like 1 or 2 o'clock in the morning, or my dog will wake me up or whatever, and inevitably it's either the dude that does John Marston's voice streaming Red Dead, which like those streams are so cool. Hearing him talk about that and hearing his voice come through him, and you're looking at the game like, wait, what is happening? It's either that or it'll be. I don't know if it counts as propaganda, but for some reason, YouTube has lately been like, hey, I know you like history. Yo, check out these World War II bombing raids. It's so weird. It's so weird. But yeah, this collection here is really neat. It's one of those ones that I feel like it's overlooked on Steam because like why would you search for D&D? Everybody's into, the big one is like Baldur's Gate 3. If you want to play a D&D game, go play Baldur's Gate 3 specifically. But the arcade games, man, this collection here is pretty cool. Yeah, the World War II videos are definitely like they're very propaganda, but it's not malicious. It's not like a modern propaganda. I mean, it is malicious. It looks like stuff that probably came out back in like the 50s or something like that, 40s, 50s, maybe even during the draft that got recolorized. But it'll just be people talking about, and you can see our boys going to work on their machine guns. They have to make sure these are polished to kill Tojo. It was like, great. Didn't need to hear all that. Everything was cool until you started talking about whatever weird racist stuff they have going on in those videos. But the videos themselves, like I'll wake up and like, oh man, this is actually pretty neat. Like seeing like a person take off from a World War II era like battleship, and then land back on it too. Really cool. Nubby's Number Factory. Nutmeg. Haven't touched this yet. Haven't had the energy for it. I don't have it tonight either. Not tonight, Satan. Good old Might and Magic. I have, speaking of Might and Magic, so I think it's listed as. Dang it. Well, man, I don't want to go. I don't want to go back into old retro SNES Might and Magic. That's how the first one I played was I think it's Isles of Terra or something like that on the Super Nintendo. I remember playing that game and being very confused because by that point I had played like by the time I rented that game I had played Secret of Mana a little bit. I played Earthbound, Final Fantasy 4 and or whatever, Final Fantasy 2 and 3, Super Mario RPG probably. And I went back and saw I was at some rental store and they had a copy of Might and Magic 3 for the Super Nintendo, and I got it and I was like, man, this is cool. This is an RPG and you can make your characters and all sorts of stuff. And then I was just like, what 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 is happening? Especially when the first fight happens and it just shows you your faces getting like blood on them. It's so weird. All that stuff makes sense once you understand what's going on, but like if you don't understand what you're looking at, Like Might and Magic dungeon crawlers in general are like impossible to figure out for some people. It was me. I was some people when I was little. Let's check this out. Thank goodness for GOG. All they need is what's it called? No One Lives Forever. I like the idea of what was that one game that came out? So in like it must have been like 2008, 2009. Oh, damn, there's two of them. There were two dungeon crawlers that came out. It was like Etrian Odyssey had come out on like the DS or 3DS or whatever. I think it was DS. And Etrian Odyssey was really cool because it was a dungeon crawler. But the gimmick was like instead of just playing a dungeon crawler, the bottom because it was a touchscreen, the bottom screen was your map, and you had to actually map it out how you wanted to. But that meant like if you came across like maybe like a treasure chest, maybe you would indicate that that's a treasure chest room differently from somebody else. Um, it was neat. It was just a cool idea. Man, oh man. Well, as I mentioned earlier, the problem is there's only so much time in the day, and I still need to eat and stuff. So I'm already going to have to stop, which is a bummer. Maybe I'll get out of work earlier tomorrow, but I think Tuesdays, man, Mondays suck. I think Tuesdays are technically worse. Plus, I have like four people on PTO tomorrow, so great. It's gonna be awesome. At least it's Easter weekend, which literally means nothing because I work in a warehouse and don't have to deal with customers. But still, anyway, man, before I leave, this is Unreal Tournament 2004. It's very funny that they thought they were going to do these games yearly. They had 2003, they made 2004, and they skipped years, and then they went ahead and made Unreal Tournament 3, which is like the fifth one in the series. Okay, it's not the thing. What I'm thinking about is I'm thinking about getting the Xbox emulator and trying to find Unreal Championship 1 and 2. 1 is just like Unreal Tournament 2003. 2 is like a third person. I don't think it's completely third person, but it's got a lot of third person like action stuff. I remember my friend playing as like Sub Zero or like Raiden and like freezing people and doing fatality. It wasn't fatalities, but just like stuff in game. Always looks cool. Anyway, yes, I will be back probably tomorrow. I was gonna say later, but it is already late. I'm looking at the time. I don't have my glasses on, but I think it says late o'clock. So I'll catch you guys later. Thanks for stopping by and peace out.